I've been using the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 for over a week now, and I can confidently say that this is my favorite foldable I have ever owned. But it is not perfect, and there are a couple of things that you should know before spending $2,000 or more on this device. Let's kick it off with the design, because this is the Z Fold 7's best feature. Samsung finally did it. After years of minor iterations, the Z Fold 7 is a serious leap forward in design. This thing is significantly thinner, lighter, and more comfortable to use than any previous Samsung foldable. When unfolded, it's just 4.2 millimeters thin, and folded, it is only 8.9 millimeters. Look at this compared to my S25 Ultra. I cannot get over how much I love how thin and sleek this phone looks. This is the first foldable I have ever owned that it feels so light and slim that I almost forget it's a foldable. Samsung made some major improvements on their hinge design as well, with a new what they're calling it the Armor Flex hinge that is tighter and more durable, making it easier to keep the display aligned, and it feels a lot more rigid. It's not perfect, the crease is still there, but it looks much better to me when next to my Z Fold 5. I also feel like it has more of a snap to it when opening, similar to my OnePlus Open, but at the same time I can comfortably pop into flex mode at multiple angles. You get Gorilla Glass Victus Ceramic 2 on the front, even though I would still just slap a screen protector on it, and you get the Armor Aluminum for the frame. For this insane price, I would have loved to see titanium, but honestly, with how much Samsung improved in the design department overall, I can't even be mad. You get IP48 protection, which is the same as last year, and the only real complaint that I have about the design, you probably already guessed it, that camera bump is insane. If you don't use a case and like to use your phone on a flat surface, you are not going to be very happy. I'm okay with this drawback, however, because of just how amazing this phone looks and feels in the hand. And I think a lot of that good look is also because of this new blue shadow color. I think it's the only color to go with this year, but blue is also my favorite color, so there's that. It reminds me of my old Game Boy SP. Please continue to give us more fun colors like this one, maybe a mid-year refresh with carbon fiber or red, we'll have to see. And for the main reason most of us are buying this phone, how about those displays? For me, both are near perfect, but I do have a couple of small gripes. The inner display has been upgraded to 8 inches, up from the 7.6 inches of last year, and the cover display is now 6.5 inches, offering a much more natural aspect ratio, finally. I found the previous generations too narrow, even though I did enjoy the one-handed use benefits. And other devices like the Pixel Foldables I find too wide. This phone is exactly how I'd like to have my screen width. I am very happy with this change, and I still feel comfortable using it with one hand. This is also partly due to the slimmer design and hinge, but the screen ratio plays a huge role as well. The main foldable panel is an LTPO AMOLED 120Hz HDR10+, and it peaks out at 2600 nits. It's perfectly usable in the bright sun, but for the $2,000 price tag, I would have liked to see a bump up to at least 3000 nits. The cover screen is 6.5 inches, 1080 by 2520, LTPO 120Hz, and it has the same peak nits of 2600. Overall, you're not going to be disappointed when using this device for watching content, editing photos and video, mobile gaming, or playing heavier titles, or streaming games, whether you are on the outer display or the inner display. Both look incredibly bright and vibrant and just absolutely gorgeous. One gripe I have, other than the brightness, Samsung has removed the under-display camera on the inner screen and opted for a hole-punch traditional selfie camera instead. Here's the thing. Who's taking selfies with this camera? People might be using it for Zoom calls and things like that, so I can understand that part of it, but I would have preferred Samsung to just remove it entirely. Every time I watch content and turn it to the wider orientation, the hole punch is inside my content, both ways that I rotate it. I think the best option would have been moving the hole punch to the corner, similar to other foldables on the market. And even though it might not be a gripe for me, it might be for some of you. As you probably already know, Samsung removed S Pen support. I don't like when companies remove features, especially at this high of a price tag, but I can't say that I'm going to miss it very much. If you can't live without it, luckily the older Samsung foldables still offer S Pen support, and the S25 Ultra still comes with a built-in S Pen. And now we arrive to where my Samsung glazing ends temporarily. Samsung, the battery on this phone is a joke. for $2,000, and it's kind of sad because this is looking to be the best foldable of the year. I get around 5 to 7 hours of screen on time with a mix of use of the front and inner screen, doing things like taking phone calls, multitasking on a huge beautiful screen, playing mobile games, listening to music and audiobooks, and gaming via emulators and streaming services. You get the same 4400 mAh battery that we've had since the Z Fold 3. To put into perspective, the first Galaxy Fold, released in 2019, came with a 4235 mAh battery. The 4400 mAh battery is ridiculous at this price point after making so many other improvements this year, and it's just a huge disappointment. A battery upgrade would have made this phone perfect. And while I know some of you don't care about this, I sure do, and that's the charging speed. The Z Fold 7 has 25 watts wired and 15 watts wireless. It will take you around an hour and a half to go from 0% to 100%. This is my biggest complaint with this phone. I'm hoping that with the Z Fold 8 we see a 6000 mAh battery and at least 45 watts fast charging like we have on the S25 Ultra. Samsung probably worried about eating into the Ultra's market, but we need battery improvements on both the Fold series and the Ultra series. It's gone way too many generations with the same battery size and charging speeds. With that said, here is a tremendous leap forward for Samsung foldables, and that's the camera. The Z Fold 7 gets the same exact 200 megapixel sensor from the Galaxy S25 Ultra. This is a terrific camera. I'm happy that the Fold finally has a flagship camera that it deserves. Main camera shots are crisp and vibrant and very well balanced. Samsung has dialed back the overprocessing, and colors are more accurate than ever. The ultra-wide now has autofocus, which means close-up macro shots are sharp and pretty useful. It's not all great though. The 3x telephoto, that's where it's going to lag behind competition by a bit. The hardware is small and you feel the drop in sharpness, especially in low light. The internal selfie camera also gets a major upgrade, now coming with 10 megapixels, but you have a foldable. So I would just use the cover screen trick to use the main camera as your selfie cam. Also, Samsung packed the Z Fold 7 with so many cool features. Now these features are also mostly available on something like the S25 Ultra, but being able to multitask on this big screen makes everything easier and feel way more productive, and it feels like a machine to use to get things done. And listen, I get it. When I hear the letters AI in a keynote presentation, I start rolling my eyes, and everyone who knows me at work, even my full-time job, AI has become a buzzword without meaning. Companies will toss AI features at you, but you don't necessarily use them. Samsung, in my honest opinion, beats Google, Apple, OnePlus with AI, and it's simply because all of its features are actually useful. I'm not going to cover all of them, but to share a few that I use regularly on the Fold 7, here they are.
Solo tengo mi casa. Solo tengo mi casa.
For software and security, the Fold 7 is the first Samsung phone to launch with Android 16 and One UI 8. The experience is mostly similar to One UI 7, but it's more refined and even more responsive. Without a doubt, since the release of One UI 7, Samsung has been my favorite software experience of the year. This remains the same for One UI 8, and that's saying a lot because I used to use Samsung back in the TouchWiz days, if you remember that. You also get 7 years of major Android updates, putting it right up there with Google and Apple, which is also awesome. Plus, since the durability of this device has improved so much, just check out the latest Jerry Rig Everything video if you haven't already. It could actually last you 7 years without major issues. Biometrics are handled via a side-mounted fingerprint sensor and a face unlock function, both of which work incredibly fast and are very reliable, but face unlock is pretty useless in a dark room and it's not going to compare to something like the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I can't use it to open secure applications like I can with Pixel devices and the iPhone. For that reason, I stick with the fingerprint sensor, which works great every single time. And for the performance, the Fold 7 rocks the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, which is the same chip as the S25 Ultra, but supposedly it is slightly underclocked for thermal efficiency. Which, by the way, this phone does get hot, and it gets a lot hotter than I was expecting. Here's some temperature reading of it while I was charging and playing games for about an hour, and I wasn't that impressed. Something to note for sure if it's something that's going to concern you. I will update after I have used this for a few months of daily use to see if it improves with software. Overall, this phone though is crazy fast, and I can't notice a single difference between the Fold 7 and my S25 Ultra. Apps are super fluid and fast, multitasking is smooth, and gaming is just simply incredible. I feel confident saying that this is going to be fast for many years to come. So after a week, can I recommend the Z Fold 7 to you? Absolutely. Now it's not cheap, and it does come with a couple of downsides, but this without a doubt is the most refined, most complete foldable Samsung has ever released. This fixes most of the major gripes I've had over these devices for years. The weight, the awkward aspect ratio, and the main camera. Sure, I wish the battery life and charging were better, like a lot better, but everything else, this is a huge leap over prior generations. If you have always wanted to try a foldable, I'm telling you, this is the one. Hit that like button down below if you liked this video and if it helped you out, and subscribe for more if you like what I do, and I will see all of you next time.